Okay, let's look at the triiodide blooper reel to explain why one Lewis structure is more valid than another one. Okay, so it actually comes into formal charges because remember that formal charges should be as close to zero as possible. So here, we've got the triiodide, and really the only move we can make is we take our three iodines and we connect them together, and then that was 22 total electrons, and that used 4, and so I have 18 left, and I'm going to put 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Okay, so that's 12, and then I have 6 left. Now, in my correct version, the one that worked out for us, I put 3 here, and they were sort of around the middle of the molecule, around that belt at the 120, and then you had this up, that down, and this in the middle, and it was a linear structure. Okay, so if I say, well, I'm just going to give him to where he has the 8 valence electrons, okay, and then that leaves me 2 left over. So I gave him 4, so I've got 2 left over. And it doesn't matter which one you give it to. Let's just stick the other ones on this guy. Okay, look, this guy. It's backwards in the film. And so now this one is violating the octet rule. And the reason I'm asking this is, kids tell me, why is this one violating the octet rule and this one isn't? And I'll show you why. Okay, so let's do formal charges, and we'll call this one A, B, and C. Okay, so A, B, and C. So the formal charge for A is what we would expect because it has 7 valence, it has 6 unshared plus 1/2 of 2 is 1, and so that one A equals 0. Okay, now B, it has 7 valence, and it has 4 unshared plus 1/2 of 4, which is 2, so 7 minus 6 is plus 1. Okay, so wait a minute, so you don't get confused. So A is right here, and that has normal halogen behavior. B here, see, that gets to a plus 1, and iodine doesn't want to be a plus 1. Okay, it wants to be negative. It wants to be a negative 1. So this is already really kind of not so great. Okay, but then when we do C, we get same 7, and then it's got 2, 4, 6, 8 unshared plus 1/2 of 2 is 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. 7 minus 9 is -2. Now, the thing is, it does add up to that -1 that we need, but in my other structure, I had a 0, a 0, and a -1, and here I got a plus 1. Yuck, iodine doesn't want to be a plus 1, and I've got a -2. Also yuck, iodine doesn't want to be a -2. Iodine, when it forms an ion, the iodide ion, it wants to be a -1 because it wants to gain 1 electron. So it's most comfortable at a -1. And when I can make a structure, even though it technically works, it's not the most valid structure because it has a plus 1 and a -2, whereas my other triiodide structure, you can see in the video before this, has 0, -1, 0. And so when you're doing your Lewis structures, make sure to check your formal charge so that you're doing it right.